Hey everyone, my name is Katherine Pearson and this is a presentation about my career interests and future profession. I am currently an administrative assistant at Fujifilm Manufacturing, a Japanese-based company in Greenwood, South Carolina. I have previously been an adjunct professor in a startup ESL program at Lander University, which is where I graduated from, and I've done some independent ELL tutoring online. My long-term goal is to open up my own ELL center to provide excellent services to both children and adults in my community. To reach my long-term goal, I have pinpointed 3 short-term goals. The first is to learn how to best teach ELLs. The second is to learn how to run a nonprofit organization. And the third is to fit that nonprofit organization to the needs of ELLs in my community. So to meet my first goal, which is learn how to best teach ELLs, I started investigating resources that would equip me to become a better teacher. The first one I found was this program at Purdue, so I feel like I'm well on my way. The second resource I found was the Teacher Education Journal of South Carolina. This is a good reflection of the educational culture in my state and points me in the direction of educators around me who would help me to complete my goal. The educational culture I feel in South Carolina is a little different, and I'm more than willing to go into that if anyone wants to get in touch with me outside of this presentation. I also found the journal Classroom Discourse through the Purdue Library. This has been a treasure. There are so many articles on so many different topics. I have found more updated information on adult ELL classes, which when I researched online, most of them were from the 70s to the 90s. My favorite was an article on saving face in the classroom. I recommend everyone, sift through that journal. There's a lot of little gems in there. I also found blogs and free articles on Google that give a fresh perspective on some teaching styles in the ELL classroom. And I can share some of those too if anybody wants to get in touch with me after this. My second goal is learning to successfully run a nonprofit organization. I am relying heavily on my connections I made from when I was a journalist, who run many of the nonprofit organizations in my community. I'm also constantly researching tips and pointers on how to start my own nonprofit and to keep it running successfully. I feel like a lot of times when people start a nonprofit, they put in all that work and then there's a burnout after, or there's not as much funding after, so I want to make sure I can successfully keep it going. Before really finding resources, I started taking a deeper look into my community. There are 1,000 ESOL students in the school district I've been working with, and that's about 10% of the student body population. I'm not sure how it is everywhere else, but we're now one of those states where your student can, or the parent can pick for a student to go to school in a different school district. So it's the student body percentage is not proportionate to the city of Greenwood itself, the population of the city of Greenwood itself. Every school in the district has ELL students. I also looked at the poverty level, which is about 72% of the population, and a large portion of the ELL students fall into that category, which has helped me make the decision to open a nonprofit as opposed to a for-profit, or for charging anyone any fees or anything like that to be considered to be part of the program. One of the associations I found was the National Association for the Education of Young Children, which focuses on the educational development of young children. This organization deals a lot with early childhood education, which I think is necessary, as this program with Purdue will only deal with K through 12 students, and I need to be able to reach younger students than that, as well as my adults. I also chose to follow the American Council on the Teaching of Foreign Languages because it encourages the learning and teaching of all languages at all levels of instruction. So my ultimate vision of the center is to have native English speakers also come in and learn foreign languages from there, as well as ELLs learning English. So I think this is a valuable resource for me and something that I might need to earmark for my future with my own ELL center. Some of the job opportunities I found that could help me become better equipped to run the center are becoming an ESL tutor in my community, so I have a hands-on approach to what I'm dealing with in my community, to be an adult ESL volunteer at local churches and our public library, and to volunteer with local nonprofit organizations to get a feel of how they run things. And as I was researching, a lot of the skills that I ran into were I need to be able to teach, to write grants, to network, to be familiar with community outreach, and to be a volunteer. So any and all advice is welcome. I appreciate any feedback from this presentation. Thank you for listening and have a good day.